Hi, I'm State Representative Burt Johnson, and I thought I would bring to you an update on some of the things that we've been working on in Lansing. Things that I think you should know, and things that can certainly help you in your daily travels. Recently, I passed legislation, House Bill 4607, on refund anticipation loans. It's important to note because this is tax time, and by April 15th, everyone should have filed their taxes and will be expecting some sort of return or will be paying a debt that they owe to some governmental entity. With that in mind, there are a number of tax centers that have opened up across the state of Michigan. A lot of them, prior to this legislation, were able to come into the community and charge very high rates on both interest and penalties if in fact you took the loan. That is not a loan against the money that you're supposed to receive, but a loan from that company based on what they think you're going to get back in a tax return. And let me say it this way. It's money that is not linked to the money that the federal government will send you in a tax return. So you've got to be very careful. Although you may take a loan from one of these tax centers, it is not guaranteed that you will get the money from the governmental entity owing you that money. And if that's the case, you're still on the hook for the amount of money that you've taken from that company. So the refund anticipation loan bills that I've actually passed are bills to ensure that the interest, penalties, and the amounts of money that they can charge you on a return amount that you have to pay as a result of the loan are much, much lower. But be careful and remember this, it's your money anyway. Let's just wait a couple weeks to get it in the mail like we used to do. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about was House Bill 4386, which is a shutoffs bill related to how utility companies can operate in and around the state of Michigan. And what it means is very simple. For those folks who in this state are medically challenged or have disabilities, the utility companies can no longer shut them off. Because those people depend on machines and other things to get them through the day, we are no longer allowing people to be shut off by a municipally owned or standard electric or gas company provider. I'm going to take it a step further though. I want to prevent the electric companies and the gas companies from shutting people off from the months of November through April. And in the state of Michigan, we all recognize those as the colder and winter months. So stay tuned for that legislation. It's on board. RTA, which is Regional Transit Authority. That bill, that group of bills, is now making its way through the committee process in transportation, and it's an excellent and incredible opportunity for us to really put regional mass transit on the ground here in the state of Michigan and to make your opportunity to ride one of these trains or regionally coordinated bus system to and from the places that you're trying to go and do all the business that you do every day. And it could finally become a reality. After 50 plus years, we're finally getting movement. We're seeing coordination out at the federal level from the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. They're the three bills that I've introduced along with my two colleagues, Representative Donegan as well as Swatowski. And stay tuned for great things happening with regional mass transit. And I also wanted to talk to you about returning to glory an old gem in the city of Detroit, the State Fair. We may in fact be on the verge of having a deal cut between the Huron Metro Parks and the State Fair and the state of Michigan to make sure that citizens in this area have the opportunity to continue to enjoy the country's oldest and best state fair. We've been out in operations for over 160 years. There's no reason to stop. And with all of the cutbacks and the things that people do not enjoy as a result of this economic recession and downturn, I wanted to make sure that you still had an opportunity to take your children out to the state fair at the state fairgrounds at 8 Mile and Livernois, so that 8 Mile and Woodward, excuse me, so that you could have a real good time with your family. It's very important to me, as I know it's important to you. And lastly, I wanted to make sure that you knew that the Detroit delegation, and I am chair of that delegation, was all over and completely on top of the fact that we have to protect public schools, not just in the city of Detroit, but across the state of Michigan. And so this legislative body is making sure that we hold everyone who's in a position of authority accountable so that nothing goes wrong with our public education system, but in fact that it gets better and begins to give to students the promise of a great education. Stay tuned for more conversation. Thank you for joining me. And as always, you can post feedback on my YouTube channel or you can email me at the State House. Have a great one.